Hold on 1 second. Sorry. All right, sorry, Dylan is drilling holes in the bathroom wall, so I just want to make sure that we don't hear that because it's kind of loud. All right, so I hope everybody is having a great day and doing well. I wanted to talk about mindset tonight because this is something that I think is huge, and a lot of times we don't really think about it, and it can really make or break your business. I think it's the whole thing. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you can't. So what I found really interesting is that I've been thinking about this a lot lately, just with stuff that we've had going on and whatnot. It is such a mental game, and you really have to have your mind in it. And I've been just kind of doing a lot of personal development and stuff. And interestingly, in the Badass book, one of the sections I was reading about was actually, it's funny because it's titled "Your Brain is Your Bitch." And I'll be honest that there have been plenty of times where I play the mind games with myself, and either I know I love it. I keep rereading it and keep rereading parts of it because they just, depending on what it is, it just clicks some days. But one of the things that I can tell is that anytime I've had a slump in my business or things aren't going the way that I want to, it really comes down to my mindset. And it might be that in my mind, I feel really busy, or I feel like we have a lot of things going on with the kids, or we're distracted by traveling or whatever it is. And so my mindset goes to that, well, you're really busy. So instead of doing 10 follow-ups today, I'm just going to do 5, or I'm going to put off those follow-ups and do them later because I have all this stuff to do. And the crazy thing is that once you start thinking that way, it is so easy to snowball yourself and just kind of continue to think that way. And then before you know it, you kind of like, then you have yourself thinking, well, see, my business isn't working. Things aren't doing what I want it to, because you've kind of talked yourself out of it. And sometimes it happens slowly. You don't realize that you're doing it. And this is what happens to me because I feel like I'm busy. I feel like I'm actively working the business. And then, you know, I stop and kind of do a check on myself and realize that it's a lot of mindset. So, you know, one of the things that they say is fake it till you make it. You believe that you're diamond, or you believe that you're triple, or you believe that you're ambassador, whatever that goal is, and you act like it, and you talk like you are, and you are, because that's what's going to make it. And I can say that I know personally for myself, every time that I have promoted, I have been in that mindset. You know, I do the goals on my mirror. Well, in our old house, I had the goals on our bathroom mirror because I had the bathroom to myself. We just hung a mirror in my closet, so that's where my new goal chart is going to be, is in there, because that's generally where I'm getting dressed every morning and kind of spending some time, since I can't have it in our main bathroom now, because that would probably be kind of awkward and weird for anybody who comes to my house to see "My brain is my bitch" written on my mirror, because that's probably something that I'm putting on my mirror. It's just that the thing that is interesting is that you make your reality. So whatever you believe or whatever you feel, that becomes your reality. So if you're feeling that this business isn't working, or it's hard, or it's moving too slowly, it's because you're already thinking that. So to switch it, you just have to start thinking, you know, I'm doing awesome. I'm signing these loyal customers. I'm signing my distributors. I'm doing whatever. Even if you haven't, but if you're thinking that way and you're saying you are, then you will be. And it's kind of crazy how that mystical power works, but it works that way. You basically create your own reality, and you can also change reality. So if you feel that something is going a certain way and you don't want it to go that way, then you just tell yourself differently. Dylan would probably say that I probably did this with our relationship because he did not want to admit that we were in a relationship. And we actually, when we were first dating, we broke up because I referenced myself as his girlfriend. And to him, that meant he was in a relationship and he wasn't going to have any of it. And so he broke up with me. And I said, okay, that's fine. I'll wait. So I did. And he said it was kind of stalkerish, but I had known from the first time that we kind of started being more than friends and kind of took that relationship to the next level where we actually were hanging out and it wasn't just play dates with our kids. I knew from that moment that we were going to end up together and get married. And one of the things he first told me when we started dating is he said, I will never live with a woman again and I will never get married. So, haha, here we are, because I created that reality and I had the mindset. And I will tell you that it was something that he will tell you that I probably kind of stalked him, but here we are. So it works though. When you really know that you want something or you really know that you have that drive for something, you say it to yourself, you believe it, there's no question about it. When we broke up, I kind of just shook my head and, okay, I understand. You need some time. And he was kind of like, you're not upset? I'm like, you just need some time. And it lasted about a month. And then he called me and he's like, I really miss just hanging out. I'm like, I know. So that's just kind of the crazy thing about that mindset. The one thing that is really important is you have to change your thinking first, and then the evidence appears. So a lot of times what we do is we do it the other way around. We don't have something happen or something happens and we're like, well, okay, see, I told you that person wasn't going to follow up or follow through and sign up or whatever. You already have that mindset. But demand to see the evidence before you even believe it to be true, and it will become true. So if you tell yourself, I will have 5 loyal customers by the end of this week or end of this month, and you treat it as you do and you treat it as you know it's going to happen, what's going to happen is you're going to then start doing stuff to make yourself make that happen. You know that you have that goal and you have it set. Well, what are you going to do? Well, I know that I need to talk to X number of people every day. If I want to double my actions, that means I have to double the number of people that I talk to. It's just all a matter of perception. So some of the things is, because it's hard to change the mindset, especially when you're feeling defeated or you're feeling that it's not working or you're feeling like, what am I doing wrong, or I'm doing everything right, but it's not working. And a lot of times it's just one little thing, one little tweak, one little tiny little thing that it's either in mindset or changing or doing something differently. And so some of the ways that you can help your brain flip and start thinking about the evidence happening before you even make it happen. I know that sounds confusing, but is first off, ask. So pray for it, put the message out there, make it created in your brain. When you acknowledge it, when you say it, when you write it down, when you pray about it, that's asking for it and that's putting it out there. Then you want to act as if it's there or if it's happening. That's where the fake it until you make it comes in. You do it in spite. So if you have some intense desire to do whatever, you go do the things that are going to make that happen. If you want to go to the beach and you know that you think that there's no possible way that you're going to get there, you're probably not. But if you want to go to the beach and you know that you're going to get there, you're going to start going to the gym. You're going to go pick out that bathing suit. You're going to start planning that trip. You're going to make it happen somehow. One of the things that was really interesting in this book, the story that they shared, is that there was a gal who basically she lived paycheck to paycheck, didn't have a lot of money, and she happened to take a trip to Italy and visited a villa, and she walked into it, and she immediately was like, this is going to be my house. This is it. This is my house. I don't have a dime to my name. I don't know how I'm going to afford it, but I'm going to buy this house. She had never owned a house before, and she was from America, let alone moving to another country and buying a house in another country. But she decided that that was it. And she went home and she started to plan. How am I going to, she started to research how to even buy a house. How is she going to afford it? All that. Well, people told her she was crazy because first off, you don't just go to a country and buy a house in that country when you don't have any money, when you've never owned a house before and don't even speak that language. She was about to give up, but then someone suggested to her that she could rent out the villa for rentals for a year in advance, and people pay in advance. So she figured this out, researched it, and figured out it was entirely legal, and then made enough money through people, prepaying for their rent to rent her villa that she didn't even own yet, that she was able to purchase the house and moved to Italy and lived in her house. I don't think she lived there the whole time, because she used it as a vacation home until she had it all basically paid for, and then she stopped renting it out and moved there. But talk about some drive and just that, making it a realization and making it happen. It's just something that when you have that passion and you have that drive, you just figure it out and you do it. You have to live in that environment that you want to be in. So if you want to be that positive, successful person, you need to be around positive, successful people. If you're around the people that are negative, telling you you're never going to get anywhere with this, it's a scam, whatever, you're going to start to believe that yourself, and you're not going to see that success. But when you start hanging out with like-minded people and they're supporting you and encouraging you, there you go. You're in that environment, and it's going to take you that much farther. So here's Dylan. He says, peace and hi. And the other thing, and this is something our company knows what they're talking about, and they know what they're doing. I've read a lot of personal development books, and a lot of them say basically the same types of things, all these things that we're talking about. Well, one of the other things that you do is make a vision board, a dream board. When you put it down, when you put it out there, you make things happen. I'm sure Dylan will give a thumbs up with, I think we're on our third dream board now. I still have our first one somewhere that we did for, I don't know, I think he said fourth maybe. But I never realized how much it could impact and how much it could really do. We put our first dream board up, and I think within that first year accomplished everything that we had on it and learned to dream a little bit bigger. And every year, just kind of every time we cross something off, we're adding more stuff. But what I think is really cool is that when we look at our dream board now, there's so much more on there. We want to do more gives back, and things like that, more planning for the future for the kids and all that kind of stuff. And it makes quite a difference. I think the only thing that we've had on all of our dream boards that we haven't fully accomplished is paying off my student loans, but we're working on that and we'll get there. So, those dream boards, however you want to do it, whether it's words, pictures, writing it on the mirror. I love the whole mirror thing because it's something you see every day and you can change it. I use the whiteboard marker. We have a few of them. We have a few different dream boards. I have my one for my office, and then we have our 2 beach balls, I think you can see back there. One we did as a family, and one I kind of did more business oriented. So that's, some of the things. And one of the cool things that we did this year is we had the kids put some of their own dreams on the ball, and seeing them be excited and happy about the stuff that we get to cross off on there is really cool. Our first dream board we didn't do as a family, and now that's something that I think I'll always do. And the kids are excited to be able to add more things or do more things. One of the things Gabe is most excited about is we put on our newest dream board, we put to possibly do a missions trip to go see Rosa and Alan, our Children's Cup kids that we sponsored. And Gabe is just like floored with that. Like he asks about that like every other day. Just when do we get to go do this? And really, we're gonna go to Mexico and meet them and all this kind of stuff. I'm like, well, that's the hope someday that we can do that if we keep working hard. And so he's all for it. And then finally, just love yourself. You are worth it. You are made for more. There's nothing that anybody who is successful in this business or company, and not just ours, but in any business or company, there's nothing different about them than you. We're all just passionate people wanting to make a difference, wanting to better our lives, and wanting to change, help people and change lives and have fun while doing it. And where it starts is just with loving yourself. So those are just some. Oh, sorry, I had one other note that I wanted to talk about. And one of the biggest things that I find that helps change your mindset is belief. Having belief in yourself, having belief in the company, and belief in the products. We know that they work. We had that Zoom a while back, or not the Zoom, sorry. We had the team meeting last month. Yeah, I know what I'm talking about, where we all shared our favorite products, and it turned into not just sharing a favorite product, but sharing what the products have done for us. And we had so many amazing stories just in that room. I think there was like maybe 15 or 18 of us, and there was so many just amazing, life-changing stories about what the products have done. And we don't need to, it's awesome to be at a big conference or green carpet and hearing people talk on stage and share their stories, but we have that right here, right on our team. And I think that is something that is completely amazing, and that we need to share more often. So this is really weird. I'm getting a reminder of my Zoom meeting invitation now when it's like halfway through. So that's a little odd. Whatever. That's me and technology. So that's kind of what I had on mindset. And I don't know if anybody else wants to add anything or has questions. I don't know. That's just where my heart was this week. So I'd love to hear from some of you guys. Anyone? It's all so quiet. Okay, do we want to talk about anything else? Suggestions? Questions? I think there's a group of us going down to the meeting tomorrow night. So that'll be fun.
Woo, meeting! Guys are all so boring tonight. Come on.
Everybody's quiet. What happened?
It's like 98% humidity in the cities, and I'm dying.
It's cold and rainy here, so. All right, you guys, I paid for the extended Zoom, so like we're not going to get cut off.
So Amelia, I have something for everybody is, make a list of I am statements and read those 2-3 times a day. It's incredible. Mine are in my day planner, so it's always with me. Just a second. I have a whole page, but I have one that I think is everybody should it fits everybody. I am the leader of a flourishing team. Everyone who joins my team experiences personal growth, personal fulfillment, and success. So just make a page of them. And, I have them posted on my mirror. I have them posted on my office wall. But I also keep it in my day planner. So if I'm at the coffee shop, I can flip it open and constantly be just telling myself that's what I am. I mean, you have to believe it, and that will help you. If you don't believe in yourself, just know we believe in you, But that will help you start having that firm belief of yourself.
Yes, for sure. I know, and look, actually, when you said that, I'm looking for my I am statements because I know I have them somewhere in here. But I know that I had one girl, she's not on tonight, but I have one girl on my team who spends a lot of time driving. So she wrote hers on sticky notes and stuck them on her dashboard. So she would see them because she spent a lot of time in the car. And I think she also did her goals too. And then she would change them up. So, you know, just have them wherever, everywhere. I don't know. Now I say that and I don't know where mine is. Oh, here they are. So mine are, I am happy, I am successful, hardworking, and confident in my business. I am honest, trustworthy, and am dependable. I am an amazing mom and wife. I am a great leader, and I am amazing at what I do. And I think sometimes what's hard is a lot of times, I think, especially for us in the United States, it's hard to make those I am statements because we're saying that we're great and we're good at something. And we're so mentally trained to feel that that's bragging or that, you know, overconfidence, stuff like that. And we're so overtrained to do that a lot of times people take it to, they think they're being humble, but what they're really doing is they're just beating themselves up and lacking that confidence in themselves because it's something that we train ourselves to do, and it's something that is more specific to America versus the rest of the world. I think I was reading something recently, and it was saying that Americans are the most overconfident but lacking in confidence people in the whole world because we're viewed as very arrogant and whatnot, but yet when you really look down at or look at each person individually, a lot of people lack confidence or lack belief in themselves. And it's just the way that we're often brought up, trained. So don't think that you're being bragging or anything like that to say things like, I'm an amazing mom or I'm awesome at what I do. Because it's not. It's just having confidence in yourself. And when you can say it and believe it, then you become it. So it's kind of my feelings on that. Let's see. What else?
Yeah, I liked the example, so I don't know, for whoever was on last night on Crystal's Zoom, and she had Christina Treat. And, I just think it's so incredible because Christina Treat needed 40 some or 50 some people to go from double the presidential, and she was just oh, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. And then she told she was saying she told Lynn and Judy and Lori when you guys were in Mankato, and she was okay, next time you see me I'll be presidential, and you guys were we're seeing you in 2 weeks, and she's yeah, I'm gonna be presidential. I'm just that blows my mind that but yeah, like you said, if you say it, if you believe it and you're determined, it's gonna happen one way or another.
For sure. Oh, definitely. Funny thing, when Christina promoted in February, at the end of February, I was very, very happy for her, but it struck a chord with me because I kind of was if she can do it, why am I not doing it? And I had been already kind of following her and watching her on Facebook. And every time she was on Facebook, she literally was at her kitchen table with a mound of paperwork and her computer. And I had reached out to her and just kind of, asked her, what are you doing? How are you doing it? And she basically just said, she's I am just building relationships and contacting everybody. And it's that whole mindset of, oh, I have 5 to follow up with today. It was all day, every day, max it out, as many people as you can. And it was really interesting because I took that and just ran with it in March. And that's what I did. And I'm sure my kids and Dylan will probably say, first off, I had everything all over the house because I didn't have an office, and I had messages and notes and everything just everywhere. And it was a lot of work, but it was that mindset. I was going to do it. There was nobody that was going to tell me that I wasn't. And if she could do it, I could do it. And I don't know what it was, but it just clicked. And, you know, we got to work and made it happen. But I'm sure like Carrie, and I think maybe Terry, you were too, and Cheyenne maybe even, there were a few of us that like we were getting together daily and sitting at the coffee shop for like 3 to 4 hours and working. And then, you know, everybody had their responsibilities and their jobs and all that kind of stuff. But at that point, you know, I didn't have anything else to focus on. So I would go home and continue that. And I remember going to my chiropractor the middle of that month, and he is like, you have the biggest knot, like right back here. He's like, what the heck? And I kind of went like this and picked up my phone. I'm like, yeah, it's for messaging people because I've been working so much. Honestly, that's what it was. That's how much I was messaging, that I had to go to the chiropractor 3 times a week for about a month after that month end. But it was worth it. And we joke about it all the time now. So, you know, it is definitely that mindset. And when you say you're going to do it, putting that plan into action and just making it happen. All right. What else? I feel like, Jackie, you unmuted yourself.
I know. I don't know. I sporadically just start talking, so I unmuted myself.
Totally.
I do the same thing. I've got on my bathroom mirror. I've had it on there since March when I went double diamond. I used a very expensive lipstick, and it actually, I don't know if it's going to come off, but I am triple diamond on there. And I see that every time. And my kids even question, they're like, because I wrote, I am triple diamond. And my kids are like, but you're not. And I'm like, but that's where I want to be. And they don't get the concept. They're like, well, if you're not, why would you write that on there? I'm like, because that's where mommy wants to be next.
Mm-hmm.
So they see our dream board too. We have it inside a cupboard where we open every day. Kind of sounds bad, but it's in where our garbage can is. So anyone that comes over to my house and throws anything away, they see my dream board. And, you know, I have a lot of people that ask me, they're like, what is all this? What are these pictures? You know, why do you have, I've got chickens, a big picture of chickens. I'm like, I want a farmhouse and I want chickens. And it sounds silly, but, you know, it's on my dream board. So I think that's the big thing. Like, I print off every month my goals for myself, just because, and they're in front of me right here. I print them off. I see them every day. So I kind of know what I'm pushing for, I feel like, but at the same time, I get up, I do my devotional. I've kind of changed my path in the morning. Instead of getting up and just starting my business right away, I have started taking a different path in my mornings. And before I get on Facebook, before I even check my numbers, because that's my green personality, I want to see what my numbers are.
That's so funny. That's the first thing I do.
Yeah, and I keep track every day where my numbers are in this notebook. I know I'm green and it's obnoxious, but I can't help it. So before I do that, I put my mindset where I do a devotional, and right now I'm doing a 30-day one by Joyce Meyer. And it has been like, it was funny because Christina Treat just she posted the book that she's reading, and it's the same devotional from the book that I'm doing. So it's really changed me. I finished You Are a Badass last week. So I started that, and then I started a new book just called On Becoming Fearless in Work, Love, and Life. And that's what I'm reading now. So, but I feel like when I do my devotional, it kind of like puts my mindset, and then I'm like, I was talking about fear today. Like, we all fear what other people are going to think. Mm-hmm. And so we might say, oh, I don't want to hurt this person's feelings, but really what we're doing is we're fearing what they're going to think. So you have to take that fear off the table. And, you know, I posted a picture of myself this morning on Facebook, dropping off my kids for school, and greasy hair. I hadn't showered yet, no bra on. And, you know, I'm in my PJs and I'm driving my kids to school. I don't have to get out of the car But I'm posting that because I want to be real and I want to be raw and I want people to know I'm going home, I'm in my pajamas, yeah, but I'm still working my business, but I've already got my mindset. I've done my devotional. Now I can go back home and then I can look at my goals and be like, okay, first on my goal is volume. Okay, how do I work on my volume? Well, first I message, or friend request my 10 people a day, because I've learned if I do more than that, Facebook has sent me messages, so I've limited myself 10. And then I look down and say, help my downline. Okay, how do I help them? I interact with them. I'm doing my daily posts. So I've always got my goals in front of me and my task. And I do have the I am statements in my notebook. And I set goals at the beginning of the year. And I look back at that and I say, okay, have I reached them? And I cross them off, but I never delete them. I want to remind myself that was a goal and I reached it. Because that's too, like, I think sometimes we reach a goal, then we forget about it and we focus on the future, but we have to remember too how far we've come and what we've accomplished. If you can accomplish that, you can accomplish the next thing too.
Yes, for sure.
It is all a mind game, because I've had a couple people reach out to me recently and they're like, my number's stuck. I'm like, it was summer. Don't be hard on yourself, just refocus, and I challenged all my personally enrolled people last month to do an I am statement and to say it every day. So I think it's huge. I mean, if your mind wanders, and I'm a person with anxiety, and I think it helps me, and even with people without anxiety, but I feel like, just it helps me to stay focused for the day.
For sure. Definitely, for sure. Yeah, that's one thing I have to say, like, I am so glad my kids went back to school today.
Oh, mine went last.
I love them and I love being at home with them, and I love that we can just kind of go do whatever. And with Dylan's schedule, we're super flexible because he's got 4 days off in a row always, and then, works his 4 shifts and another 4 days off. So like we can take off and go as much as we want, but that is super distracting for working a business and keeping a routine. And not even just for myself. Like I know that I can work from the car. If he's driving, I can, do whatever, wherever. We did plenty of things where I worked from the car or the hotel, but it's just the routine of it. Like I was just so excited today that everything I did today is stuff that I normally do, but like I got it done in 2 or 3 hours because I didn't have the interruptions or things going on with my kids, which it's hard because I love that time with them. And I love that we have the flexibility and freedom to, pick up and go where we want, do what we want. But it's also nice having that schedule and that routine and just that focus time. So then when they are home in the evening, then we can just focus on family time. And I feel okay about putting my phone down or not responding to messages right away, because I committed all that time, in the morning to doing that. So it's a little harder on days that Dylan's off, because when the kids go to school and we're home alone, it's kind of like, yes, all right, what should we do? Let's go out to lunch. Let's go shopping. Like, let's go out do all these things that we don't want to do when the kids are with, because it'll cost us 10 times the amount, because then we have to feed them or buy stuff for them too. So it's a little bit harder, but he's got so many house projects going on right now that we kind of both just get up, get to work, do our thing, and then usually have the afternoons and then just to do whatever we need to do, and then family time with the kids. And I mean, this time of year, well, any time of year for us, the sports stuff with the kids is it's really time consuming. If we're not at a game, it's running back and forth, getting kids from practices and whatnot, and that's totally okay. And I love that I can sit in the parking lot at the school and message people, or, roll down my window and start chit-chatting with the mom that's parked next to me, because I can see her looking at my magnet. So I'm just like, whatever. It's nice to be able to do that, but scheduling and keeping yourself organized is a huge thing. I'm one that easily gets distracted, very easily. So that's a whole nother thing. Although I can say that I have not been on Facebook hardly at all in the past few weeks. And it's kind of refreshing, but at the same time, I have friends and family like messaging me, and they're like, well, you know, my sister, are you coming over for, we did Labor Day on Sunday, and she's like, are you coming? Are you bringing anything? And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, well, I posted on Facebook. And I'm like, yeah, I haven't even looked at Facebook in like 2 days, so sorry. But it's still good for, I go on there and do a lot of commenting and liking and, you know, just interacting with those that I'm trying to build relationships with, but a lot less time just getting sucked into the Facebook scroll, that I like to call it. So, yeah, okay. Does anybody have any burning questions or thoughts or anything? I feel like doing the whole Bueller. I have like really been lacking socialization lately, you guys. I'm sorry.
I don't know. Like now would be a good time to start if you can. Facebook is a good place to look for them, but now would be a good time to start, you know, finding those vendor shows and craft fairs, because fall's coming up and that's like the biggest thing. So
fall and leading into Christmas time, a lot of craft and vendor shows going on. And if you can find and do the smaller ones, I think my whole first year of doing this business, I mean, basically that's how I got to Diamond, was I was traveling far, because like I know a couple times I went up to Ely, over to Brainerd, all over the place, because at that time, you know, this was 4 years ago, there really wasn't anybody else in the area that was even interested in doing vendor events. So like I took on all of them I could do, and it was pretty much like every weekend, and some of them weren't very busy at all. There was one that I went to, I think it was up in Sedan or Tower, and it literally was like this big group of older people who like basically knitted and crocheted, and that's all that, like there was just vendor after vendor after vendor. And there wasn't, I mean, they didn't have 31, there was, you know, no jewelry, there was nothing. It was like literally just the handmade blankets and whatnot and washcloths and all that kind of stuff. And I'll tell you, like I got some weird looks from people, and first off, like everybody knew everybody and I didn't know anybody. Like I had just found this vendor event and just went and did it. And I had one lady who actually stopped and was interested in the greens. But as soon as I mentioned, well, we order online, no, we don't even get internet up here. And I was like, oh my gosh, okay, I know you get internet up here because I went to school in Ely. So I'm like, whatever, okay, moving on. Anyways, but one of the things that I can say is that it was still a really good experience, because what I was doing is I was always posting on Facebook where I was going and what I was doing. And I had so many people that were just kind of watching and following, and, you know, they would just basically start asking me questions like, why do you keep going places every weekend? What are you doing? What is this booth that you're doing? And so even if there wasn't a lot of like leads or people at the events, it was the activity I was doing and that interested people, you know, just to see that I was out and about and doing all that and having fun. And there was plenty of times that Gabe came with me. Bella, not so much, because she was just never interested, but Gabe came with me a lot, and people saw that and they were just, I think, impressed that I was working and doing that, you know, and having my kids with me. So I'm just reading your question, Sheila. I always smile and say hi to everybody and ask them, you know, if they smile back and make eye contact, I'll ask them how their day is going and kind of draw them in. If they answer and they're close enough, I'll say something like, can I give you a sample of the greens? Have you ever tried it? Sometimes I'll say, you look like you're really interested in health and wellness. Can I chat with you about it? A lot of times it depends on the person and how much eye contact they're giving me, but I always try to at least smile and say hi and ask them how they're doing. And that generally tends to at least, you know, if people are going to be any interest at all, they'll respond and smile and say hi back and ask how you're doing, and they might stop. If they're not going to be, if they're just cruising on through, they're going to cruise on through. They might even they might smile back and nod and say hi, but they'll keep walking, so you can kind of see. And I even had one person at one time like give me this really weird look, like why was I saying hi to them? And I just kind of smiled and was like thumbs up, and then they even give me a weirder look. But you know, you're gonna get those people, and that's okay. I always just try to make it look like I'm having fun and just chit chatty. Sometimes I'll get people to come over the booth by not even talking about anything at the booth. I'll just say something like, oh my gosh, I love your purse. Where did you get it? Or that, you know, I love your hair color or your haircut, or, you know, whatever it might be. I've even told people, you have a really nice smile, you know, just if for some reason I really couldn't bring myself to say like they had something nice on, I'll just say, you have a really nice smile, or, oh, you seem so friendly, or just anything like that. And generally when you compliment somebody, they're gonna usually respond and say, oh, thank you. And, you know, tell you where they got their purse or start a conversation. And that's generally how it starts, is, you know, just that conversation. And then they'll usually ask, because you have all your stuff there and you're wearing the gear and all that, they'll usually ask. And if not a big deal, but it's that practice too, of just getting past that worry or anxiety about starting a conversation with somebody. I find that it's much easier if I just start asking them questions about just about anything, about what they do or what they wear, and like keep the conversation off me. It's easier for me that way. I don't know why, but so with my anxiety, I have a hard time just approaching people or talking to them. I have no idea why. So like, but
that's not uncommon.
No, that's what I've heard a lot of people say that too, that it's something to do with the anxiety, that way it works or something, but I don't know. It's getting easier someday.
Practice.
But I'm not gonna lie, there's days where I'm like, I'm not gonna leave the house today or talk to anybody, and let, you know, my messages and everything, I don't open them or look at them, and sometimes that's just the way it is, and I've learned to just let it roll with it, but a lot less now than it used to be.
I had something, but I got off on a tangent.
Sorry.
That wasn't you, that was me.
You know, though, if you go into a vendor event and you just make up your mind that I'm going to smile at everybody and I'm going to say hi to everybody. I mean, that's kind of my rule. Nobody walks by without me smiling and saying hi, and the more you do that, the more your conversation with them is going to get easier. Mm-hmm. I mean, you're just going to pick that up because now you're stepping out of your comfort zone. I mean, I've gone to events and I've seen people just sit there at their table.
Yeah,
you walk right by and they don't even acknowledge you, and it's like, okay. So just make it your goal, say hi and smile, and it's just going to get a whole lot easier for you to talk with them.
Mm-hmm. And also make it all about them. Mm-hmm. Not about you, all about them.
Right.
Yep, for sure. It is. I had somebody tell me once, another vendor, and she just kind of made the comment, and she was already a loyal customer for somebody else, but she happened to have the booth, I think 2 booths next over from me or something. But she made the comment, she's like, you look like you're just having so much fun. And I'm like, well, it is fun. And she's like, do you ever feel like they're long days? And I'm like, well, sure, of course. Like, sometimes you are. If you're doing a 4-day event, yeah, it gets long, because who wants to stand for 8 to 12 hours for 4 days straight, you know? But I'm like, but I love what I do. And so it doesn't, you know, it's no different than teaching for me, because I loved teaching, and you go and stand and, you know, make it about the kids. And so it's kind of the same thing. But she was like, you just look like you have so much fun. I'm like, I do. I think somebody said something to Carrie and I once, because we were having a really fun time, and I don't think we could stop laughing for like even 5 minutes. And they made the comment that they're like, wow, you guys must be having a really good time. And we were. I don't even remember what it was about. It was just fun. Who knows? If you remember, Carrie, you'll have to remind me later, because I remember we were laughing pretty hard. So.
Can I jump in here? This is
yeah. Hey.
Hi. I'm just joining from my car. Sorry to be so late. And maybe it sounds like you guys are talking about like the event, being at an event and what to do and how to do that. So is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so one thing, like, you know, Lynn was saying, make sure you smile at everyone, say hello to everyone. Something that really helps me is to pour out little samples of energy or greens. And maybe you guys talked about this, but for me, it helps me to have a purpose to talk to people, to offer them something, to start up the conversation. You know, so it's hard for me to just out of the blue say like, you know, I can say hello, but then after hello, then, you know, so I really like saying, you know, even getting out from behind the table with a tray of little samples and offering the energy. I prefer the energy because it doesn't settle to the bottom the way the greens do, but I also like to offer the greens if that just, you know, logistically makes sense to what you're doing. But that's really a helpful tip for me when I'm feeling, you know, uncomfortable or awkward or haven't talked to anybody in a while, or I need to say like, okay, I got to do something different here because I'm just standing behind this table. Then I figure out a way to get out and, you know, reach out to people who aren't necessarily like giving me eye contact or whatever. So that's what I do.
Yeah, and actually Karen did that when we did the county fair a few weeks ago. And while we were pouring the greens and energy, the guy that was at the table next to us, he was like, well, what's that? Asking about the energy. And then he ended up buying 3 cans from me, and then he's actually thinking about becoming a customer and ordering. But just that action of, we were just standing there talking, she had the tray in her hand and I was pouring them and putting them on the tray, and just seeing us do that, you know, prompted him. I mean, the energies had been sitting there in the ice cooler all morning, and he didn't ask about it until we cracked one open and started giving out samples. So sometimes like that, and I kept sampling them out, and I'm like, oh, half a can, must drink it. I'm sure I was bouncing off the walls by the end of the night. So yeah, Karen, I am recording this, so I'll have to share it. But the first half, we talked about mindset and getting in the right mindset. So I don't know if you have any thoughts you want to share on that. Not to put you on the spot or anything. That's what you get for coming in late.
Well, I don't have any specific thoughts on mindset, except that I can tell you how, you know, and I'm sure you've already touched on this, just how important it is to have a positive mindset and have confidence in yourself. And I feel that way even in my interpreting work, you know, so I feel like it's applicable not just to this work, but all the things that you do, you know, like you can face everything feeling negative and glum, or you can, you know, think of everything optimistically, even the things that are not so great, you know, like I think back to what I heard Cindy Pentecost talking about. I don't know where I heard this, but, you know, she was talking about, you know, praying people in the business and praying them out. And, she, you know, she was saying, like, I just know that people are where they are. And I think that has to do similarly with mindset, you know what I mean? Like, not about the people on your team, but about yourself, where you are, you decide, you know? So I feel like sometimes I just choose to be crabby, like not necessarily at work, but I'll like give myself one whole day permission to be crabby, which is ridiculous. And then everything is so much worse than it really needs to be. So I don't know why I give myself that permission at all, you know, but generally I just really think that every day in all of the discussions, interactions with people, it's important to think positively. Okay, so one book that I really like, and I haven't really thought of it till just this moment, is The 4 Agreements by somebody Ruiz. I don't know if anybody has read that. And I haven't read it from a business perspective before, but I've read it just from like taking responsibility for your circumstances kind of perspective, just in life in general. And it talks about like always doing your best, being impeccable with your word. And it just has these 4 agreements about life that if you are following those things, it's really hard to get down on yourself, to get down on others. And I think that is helpful in being resilient. Also, I just listened to the Zoom from yesterday where they talk about, you know, like being able to face those no's that are inevitably going to come at you. And so that doing your best, and it says, Don't assume. You know what I mean? Like we always say not to prejudge somebody, you know, so don't assume that you know if they'd want to be in this business or not, or don't assume that the reason they're saying no is because of all of the like secret negativities that you're allowing to, you know, be in your head. First off, get rid of those negativities, but also like you don't know why somebody's saying no and you can't take it personally. Oh, that's the other one. Don't take it personal. So I just think that those are really important as far as mindset, is remembering that like if you offer somebody this incredible opportunity and they say no, it's not about you, because it's so easy to take that stuff personally. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on mindset, just out of the blue here.
No, thank you. I love it.
You know, and if you ever get to the point like Karen where you're crabby, instead of giving yourself permission to be crabby for a whole day, what I do is I just take a minute and I stop and I count my blessings. You know what, if you're feeling down because somebody said no to you, just stop and count your blessings of where you are in life and how many people have said yes, so that one no doesn't seem so drag you down, because the worst thing you can do is get drugged down. So, you know, just if you feel yourself getting crabby, just take a few minutes, close your eyes, and accept God's blessings and everything that He has blessed you with.
Yeah, I think that is great. I think that like I hear what you're saying, Lynn. I feel like I don't usually let the no's get to me too much. Mine is more like, okay, so a no doesn't get to me, I am more often held back by the fear of asking in the first place. You know what I mean? Like if I get the braveness, the courage to ask somebody, I'm not worried about what they say. You know, like I'm over it at that point. If they are in, great. If they're not, whatever. But for me, and so my happiness is more like, I'm like, I've just spent the past, you know, like 3 months being optimistic for everybody else, so I'm going to take 24 hours to myself.
Yeah. You know, and it's true, but when I go to a party, I have in my car, I have a CD in, it's either really rockin' music or it's Jim Rohn, and I'm getting myself there. But even if you go to an event and you're like, oh my gosh, I got to talk to people, just remember, smile and say hi to everybody, but take a minute. God gave you a mouth for a reason, okay? And God wants us to go out and share. If you take anything from the Bible, God wants you to go out and share, and He wants you to treat other people like you want to be treated. So just stop before that event and go, you know what? If I was walking by a table, what would I want? I would want them to greet me, to smile at me, and just kind of put that mindset in there, and you'll rock it.
For sure. And I think that I will just tell you that if you're ever feeling down or crabby or like, oh, I just can't do this, reach out to someone, talk to someone, Zoom with someone. I can't tell you how much it helps. And it doesn't have to be that you're down about the business or you're feeling anything about it. If it's just anything, I cannot tell you about how much a difference it makes when you just put all that aside and focus on your business through connecting with people, whether it's team, upline, downline, sideline. And it doesn't have to be about anything in particular. You know, if you're just kind of feeling blah, and I'm so sick of whatever, blah, 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 say, hey, do you want to Zoom and let's talk about different ways to blitz? Because when you get focused on that, and when you're focusing on something that you know is positive and you know is exciting and it's going to, you know, change lives or whatever, you can't help but be drawn in and become just, you know, happier, for sure. So, and I think that was Cammie Dempsey at the OTOM that she said, you know, if you're feeling sad, mad, angry, whatever, get to a party, get to a team meeting, get plugged in, you know, pick up the phone, call your upline or somebody, because it's gonna totally change your day. So, yeah. All right. I feel like that was a really intense hour. Why is everybody so serious? It's probably me. Sorry. But anyways, all right. Well, I'm going to sign off because I think my kids are still up. because I can hear Dylan talking to them and saying, don't go in there, your mom's on a Zoom, which is really funny because they always usually pop in and say hi. But I need to get them to bed so that they can go to their second day of school tomorrow. So, all right. Any last things that anybody want to say or burning desire? Karen's home now, so. Yeah, I know. Me too. This whole like getting up at 6:30 is just not cool in my book. So, and my kids were ready like almost 45 minutes before they needed to leave for school because they felt that they needed to get up that early, and so we got up and then we like sat there and talked and joked and all that kind of stuff. But then I was exhausted. And is Jackie still on here, or did she get off? Maybe she went off. But I was going to tell Jacqueline that I pride myself every day that I get to take my kids to school with no bra on, my hair not done, no makeup on, and I love it. So I purposefully don't get dressed. Awesome. Thank you, Stacia, because I still don't know where mine go. I know where the videos go, and where they say the picture's supposed to go, they're not there. Like, so I don't know. I've just given up. So. Mindset. I gave up on it, so that's why I'm not finding it. All right, everybody, I will share this video. I'll upload them. It might take a while because it's a little bit longer than normal, but thank you for jumping on, and I will talk to you all later. Have a good night.
Good night.